On behalf of all of us, Calgary Flames, my name is Beasley saying so long. Enjoy your family day. Now down to Brendan Parker and Meaghan Mikkelson for tonight's Flames TV live post-game show, brought to you by Original 16.
You can look for new limited edition 15 packs of Original 16 Canadian Pale Ale. Each pack includes a mix of collectible cans for the ultimate Flames fan to proudly display. Original 16, official beer sponsor of the Calgary Flames.
Hi, everyone, and welcome inside Flames TV Live, the post-game show. It's brought to you by Original 16. Brendan Parker alongside Meaghan Mikkelson this afternoon on the Family Day event here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Some good energy in the building, lots of families, lots of kids. And unfortunately for the Calgary Flames, they end up on the wrong side of it after what was a very entertaining third period. And obviously they had a deficit, trailed 3-1 going into the third. But maybe just what did you make of the push at the end and just overall what we saw here this afternoon against the Flyers?
You have to give the Calgary Flames a lot of credit. They actually lead the league in the least comeback wins.
Second period deficits.
With 0.
Yeah.
So we saw there that we might get one of those, might see a glimpse of some success in the third period, but they came out hard. And Michael Backlund said before this game that they need to play every game like it's a playoff game. And I think we saw that effort and that emotion in the third period. Yeah,
no question. And, obviously needed to, push in that third period and definitely got that. And unfortunate that it's a goal that goes off a skate that ends up being the difference. We'll take you through this hockey game here and show you just how it all went down this afternoon and then get to some of the analysis here as it goes along. Obviously hear from some members of the Calgary Flames and head coach Daryl Sutter as well. But this is where it starts, all the way back in the first period, just a couple of minutes gone by, and it's Travis Konechny that scores off the rush, and a pretty nicely placed shot by Konechny.
Nicely placed shot and a great job by Konechny to cut to the middle of the ice there, and just a missed coverage by Noah Hanifin. That's a tough save for Jacob Markstrom to make whenever a forward cuts across the seam. That's a tough save.
Yeah, cutback. It's a career-high 27 goals for Konechny, and then we fast forward to the second period. This was after a chance at one end and a goal at the other. A beautiful sauce pass. Nicolas Delorier, though, he was on the other end of a hit earlier in the game, but he gets his 4th of the season here.
And another tough save for Jacob Markstrom to make. Comes off a 2-on-1 rush. Whenever that happens, you have to look at defensively, what happened? How did that 2-on-1 rush occur? And it actually came off of a bad change. So again, not on Jacob Markstrom.
Beautifully redirected up into the slot, but here comes the life from the Calgary Flames, and it comes courtesy Michael Backlund, the hot stick in the Flames lineup right now. And you talk about nicely placed shots, that's one right there.
Well, what I love about this goal is that it actually started with an O-zone entry by Dennis Gilbert, finishes with Dennis Gilbert right in the blue paint, right in the goalie's face, and a great shot by Michael Backlund.
A little bit of a surprise starter here this afternoon, and Dennis Gilbert, we'll talk a little bit more about him as the afternoon show goes on here, but once again, there was a response courtesy of the Philadelphia Flyers, and this time it's Tony DeAngelo right down Main Street.
And again, on this one, I look at, the D zone and what happens before the shot on net even occurs. And you have 3 Calgary Flames players stuck against the wall, and then a flash screen that happens in front of Jacob Markstrom. So, letting guys walk into those spaces and get those prime scoring opportunities, you want to eliminate that.
So 3-1 after 40 minutes, and here we go into the third period, and a little spark courtesy Tyler Toffoli, and there's been some quality shots throughout the game. This one was from a little off angle, but they take it.
Yeah, that's a tough save to make as well. I mean, the Flames at that point, they needed to be putting the puck on net, shooting the puck at every opportunity from anywhere.
So Toffoli scores that one to make it a 1-goal game, and then here's your game-tying goal. And what other line other than this one? Backlund, Mangiapane, and Coleman do it. It's a rebound from Mangiapane, and he's got his 13th of the season.
This is great puck patience by Noah Hanifin. He just makes a simple play, puts the puck in there. But again, Michael Backlund, right in the blue paint, making a difference in front of the net.
Hanifin has a pair of assists on both of those goals, so we're tied up 3-3, and then this is the one that I was referencing just prior to the start of the highlights, and it goes off a skate. They look at it briefly, but you can kind of tell. Wade Allison, by the way, gets the goal. The kicking motion, if there was one, happened after it, kind of indirect contact.
And it's another tough save for Jacob Markstrom to make. Like you said, it's, off a blade or a skate, but it starts with missed coverage by Jacob Peltier and then a 2-on-1. So again, we're looking at defensive coverage error, that those are easy things to fix.
For sure, and errors that obviously the team will look at after the game, and things that we don't necessarily see a lot of defensively for the Calgary Flames. We'll hear from Daryl Sutter in just a moment, but this game looked to be, it could have been, kind of almost felt like it was tied at another point in the third period as we take a look at Blake Coleman's breakaway chance. But a couple things you noted that set up the breakaway, and then obviously what we thought might have been the game-tying goal ends up hitting the post.
Yeah, it was an excellent pass by Noah Hannafin up the ice and just perfect placement on Blake Coleman's stick. And I think everyone in the building was celebrating this one as being in the back of the net. But, that's some puck luck right there. And sometimes for teams to win a game, you need a puck to hit a post. And the Philadelphia Flyers had that on their side today. Yeah,
no question. And you kind of see the arms go up. Blake didn't know for sure. The music came on, and kind of also part of the puck luck, it ends up going right back underneath the goaltender as well. So that's where it stood. 4-3. The final is the Philadelphia Flyers hang on and earn the victory despite a couple of late chances too, with the goaltender Paul Jacob Markstrom back on the bench and the extra attacker out, but the Flames couldn't find that equalizer. So now we hear from the head coach. Let's see what he thought of this afternoon's final, 4-3 today.
Thought we had a really good start, really good first period. I think Dennis Gilbert gave us some juice for the fight. I think we lost Konechny just straight out on a 1-on-1. So they had the lead, and then I think second period our power play didn't give us much. They scored right at the end of 2 power plays for us, right? So you got caught with 1D. And I thought we poured it on the third.
You guys worked awful hard, I know, to tie it up. What did you see on their fourth one, like the eventual winner?
Yeah, it's a coverage goal. Right? Guys are at the end of the shift. You got to defend when you're at the end of the shift. Just get in the right position.
Yeah, that breakaway is a 2-on-0. Were you happy with the chance creation? Just with the way that your team created chances?
Yeah, I think their goalie made some big saves, and he probably had a little puck luck too.
Just talk about Dennis Gilbert and what he does bring.
Stepped in, did a good job. We played him on his offside. Asked him a couple weeks ago to play on his offside, and if he could, and practice it, and he had before. So stepped in and did a really good job for us. He has every time we've asked him to. Right? It's not, you know what, you're going to get those 10 to 15 minutes out of that 6 defensemen. You need everybody else to contribute.
Daryl, is Stone an injury situation?
Yes, but couldn't play today.
For those coverage goals, is that communication amongst your defensemen, or how you kind
Well,
of?
it really, I could say coverage, but they're just one-on-one defending, right? That's, defensemen have done that since they're little boys. They got to do it against top players.
You shoveled up the deep pairs a bit in the third period.
Exactly for that reason. I don't think we were moving the puck well enough, and I don't think we were working together well enough.
Did you like what you saw from the new pairs?
You're just trying to get a little jump, right? It's like changing the line around or something. We just went 3 lines, moved pairs around the third.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, some thoughts there from head coach Daryl Sutter, and kind of talking a little bit about obviously chances and chances for, chances against. But noted, as you said, a couple of missed coverage in your own zone lead to goals, and the fight, you can't fault the fight or the response, but sometimes it's just the finish, or in this case, maybe some goaltending on the other side too.
Yeah, I think, and we'll touch on this a little bit later, but the Philadelphia Flyers also blocked a ton of shots.
Totally,
so you have to give them credit for the fight that they had in their game.
Sure. Well, and maybe let's just go to it now. Let's take a look at some of them, because obviously there was a post, and that's part of this game. But if you look at the final total, there is one lopsided statistic, and it goes in the way of the Flyers. What did you see in the way that they were trying to get into some shot lanes here throughout this game? Well,
John Tortorella talked after their game in Seattle. They lost 5-2 to Seattle, and he talked about the lack of effort. That he wasn't seeing the hard work from his team that he needed, and that was kind of a call to action for those guys. They played against the Vancouver Canucks the other night, and they were happy with their effort. So you know that this is a team that right now they're going to bring it, and they're going to do whatever they need to do to get in front of pucks to prevent goals from happening. They're a gritty team the way that Tortorella coaches. They're heavy on hits, heavy on fights, and obviously heavy on block shots.
Yeah, no kidding. And 30 block shots in the end. and I think Nick Seeler had 4 of those. So good afternoon in the office in terms of the D zone for the Flyers in that category. And then you mentioned just kind of the heaviness, and maybe that's a good segue right into Dennis Gilbert. You heard Daryl Sutter mention him right off the top, but sprung into the lineup with an injury, as Daryl noted as well, to Michael Stone, not available here today. But what did you see of a guy playing, by the way, which is super weird that his first home game here this afternoon, even though I think he's been around for a couple of months. But Dennis Gilbert and his entry into the lineup, and what did he give the Flames here today?
He made an impact from his very first shift with a massive hit on Delorier, he's a tough guy.
Absolutely.
And then fighting. And I think he's a guy that's come into the lineup, and every time he's made a difference. He knows that he's a type of guy who he's a 6th, 7th defenseman. He's going to come in and need to be a little bit physical and add a little bit of grittiness, and he did that. But another thing that I thought he did really, really well was he kept his game simple. He made simple plays. He ended up contributing offensively with a nice ozone entry, getting into the blue paint. For the most part, he was making easy, simple plays. I think, I've been in the situation as a defenseman where you come into the lineup and you have to be careful that you're not overcomplicating your game, that you're still keeping it simple, and he did that really well.
Well, there's a balance between trying to make an impact or trying to make an impression, right, and just playing solid throughout. I mean, what is that like when you're trying to find that middle ground of not being invisible, but not being noticeable for the wrong reasons either?
I think you need to know what your strengths are, and that comes with maturity. He's 27 years old now. I think he knows the type of player that he is, and in order to maximize his contributions to this team, he knows the type of game that he needs to bring.
Yeah, that's well said. We get some guests now in the locker room. Let's go and hear from our first Calgary Flame. Let's go inside the locker room and listen from Noah Hanifin, Flames defenseman.
Inside this room, the overall takeaway that you guys saw?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think we had some looks there in the first period, and I think overall, I just think we didn't do a good enough job checking against our top guys, and it starts with guys like me and not letting some of their top players get looks, and especially this time of year, we can't let that stuff happen.
There's no silver linings. I realize it, especially at this point in the season, but can you speak to the idea that this team has struggled to try and put together 2, 3, 4, 5 wins on the season, and what it's going to take to get that momentum?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. When you go into each game, you want to come into each game fresh, and you don't want to get too far ahead. But that's something we're going to have to do at this time of the year. With the position we're in, we're going to have to really buckle down here at the last month and a half or so, and string together some wins. So. The thing is, when we play the way we know we can play, we know we're a good hockey team in here. It's just about coming together and making sure we're doing that consistently and holding each other to that standard.
So in those 1-goal games, it isn't about confidence or feeling right about the ability to come back. Can you put your finger on maybe what it is and why these third periods or 1-goal games just eluded you?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Sometimes each game's different depending on what happens, and like I said, I think it's frustrating sometimes. You get some looks, and we just can bury it in some of those big goals, some of those big moments tonight, and that's sometimes get frustrating. So I think it's just you just got to battle through that and then stick to the game plan.
Caught the tail end there of Noah Hanifin, and obviously a pair of assists and a big part of the offense. But he's played some great hockey for this Calgary Flames team here as of late. And another guy that's done that for them is one of their drivers up front, and that's Michael Backlund. You can look at it anyway, kind of depth throughout the middle, but Michael has certainly been a guy carrying the load specifically for his line, but just that centerman group right now.
Well, and what I see as one of the most impressive stats when I look at Michael Backlund, there's a lot of analysis and stats that fly around these days, but the one that stuck out to me that I saw before this game is that he only starts 35% of his shifts in the offensive zone, which is the lowest on the Calgary Flames team. But yet his goals for percentage is 59.1%, which is the second highest on the entire team. The only guy ahead of him is Blake Coleman by 0.04%, which ironically enough is his line mate. But obviously he's extremely reliable defensively, whether it's blocking passes, puck battles, loose puck retrievals, just all over the ice. He's so sound, reliable, just the structure of his game and the details are excellent. So it's no surprise to me that he's really stepped up and provided some offense for this this Calgary Flames team.
Well, and when you say those statistics, I mean, it's really about, that's trust too, right? I mean, the coaching staff, when they got big face-offs in defensive zone, that's obviously a high compliment for any centerman when you know that, that often you're going to be starting in your own zone, because there's a level of confidence that the coaching staff has in him and that line, right?
Well, and you saw him at the end of the game against New York in overtime. He was the one that took the face-off in the overtime, ended up leading to a goal. Game tonight, again, they're, against the rails in this game, and he's the guy out there that's taking the face-offs.
Yeah, absolutely. And an impactful night here tonight again, a goal and assist. He also had 5 shots on net, and I think was up over 60% in the face-off circle as well. So Michael Backlund. I'm not sure if do we have anyone else available in the room here yet, guys? All right. Okay, well, we'll hear from Andrew Mangiapane, one of his line mates. Obviously, he scored that goal that for a period of time had this game tied in that third period, and obviously didn't stay that way for very long. But let's hear now from Andrew Mangiapane.
Game where, I don't know if it feels the same to you or not, but the idea of kind of playing against a team you probably feel you deserve a better fate. They're close and you just aren't able to capitalize. How do you look at a game like this?
Yeah, obviously it was a close game. You can't take any team lightly in this league, no matter where they kind of are in the standings or whatnot. But yeah, I thought we did some good things well, and we got to build off that. But I feel we got to play a full 60, and I know it's kind of, we've been saying that kind of a lot, but it's true, right? We let up a shift or let up a period, and teams are capitalizing on us right now. So we got to go out there and finish our shift strong and help the next line out coming out.
Can you speak to maybe the belief in this room, knowing that every game is pretty crucial at this point, but can you still speak to where that belief level is in this room?
Yeah, I think we have a veteran group, so everyone knows kind of what needs to be done. But yeah, I think we just got to come in, next game and practice or whatever it is, and be ready to compete and be working hard and getting better, right? There's still areas of our game that we need to clean up, and obviously we can do it, and we can go on a nice run here at the end, but we just got to go out and just play one game at a time and just keep building off each other.
Does it make it more frustrating a game like that where you guys have so many? You got breakaways, 2-0s, there were a lot of chances out there.
Yeah, and like we got to capitalize on them, right? That's the name of the game, right? Teams are giving you kind of those opportunities. You gotta finish them.
Did you tip your hat at all to the rookie goaltender at the other end?
Yeah, right. I think he, made some pretty big saves there, and but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of happening a little too much now. Where I think now we got to almost put the onus kind of on ourselves and just kind of bear down and finish off those great A's that we have. Right, we're doing good work to getting those chances, and now we just got to keep creating those chances, but just bear down a little bit and want to score.
Andrew, does it feel like if your guys are snake bitten a little bit in that case, getting those opportunities but not being able to put them in that?
Yeah, I sure. Like you guys kind of saw the chances and a couple 2-on-0s and things like that, or where we should probably score, right? So we just got to stick with it, and good things will happen when you keep getting those chances.
And is this group playing desperate enough, in your opinion?
Yes and no. I feel like at times, we are, and we know that some games are big games, and I think down the stretch here, all these games are going to be big for us. So we got to play desperate, and we got to come out and be able to compete and work hard and match the other team's kind of energy in that way.
What gives you optimism that a team that's kind of 1-1 lost 1, 1-1 lost 1 can make hay over this final stretch?
Yeah, I think, obviously I've only played kind of 300 games and all that in this league, but I feel, it's easy to kind of get hot, right? I think, and we haven't really gotten hot this year, right? We've had a couple streaks or whatnot, but not really long ones. So I think, we're due, and we're playing the right way, and we just gotta, go back to what I said earlier and play a full 60 and, be able to close out games and play with the lead and be able to, win these kind of close ones.
Any explanation for how your record against non-playoff teams is really struggled? You've really been bad this year.
Yeah, I don't really know the record or whatnot, right? But can't take any team lightly, right? Like, it doesn't matter if they're last place or first place. You got to go out there and be able to play a full 60, right? It's the NHL, and there's still good players, whether they're first place or last place.
Okay, thanks, man. Thank you. Great.
Original 16, a great way to celebrate things done well.
All right, welcome back. Calgary Flames postgame live. It is brought to you by Original 16. It's the Flyers who, though, walk away from the building here this afternoon with a 4-3 victory over the Flames. They're wrapping up that 3-game homestand. So for the Flames now, a 3-game road trip upcoming that'll start in Arizona later this week. Meaghan Mikkelson, Brendan Parker alongside, and maybe just we'll pick up on that last thought kind of from Andrew Mangiapane about the desperation of the big games, because we know kind of the way that the schedule now goes and the position you're in. Pretty much all of them will have that title attached to them. What about, just sort of the approach now and the mentality you have to have with this stretch drive here?
Yeah, I think the pressure's on, obviously. I think that they all know that. Everybody knows that. They need to be playing desperate hockey. And not just in terms of, an overall general mindset going into a game that's how you're going to play. It has to be every single shift. And to me, there's two things that this team really needs to do well moving forward. The first is in terms of defensive coverage and holding themselves accountable, holding each other accountable, and making sure that those defensive breakdowns don't happen, because ultimately they lead to scoring chances, which lead to potential goals against. So defensively, tidy things up. And then the second thing, we've heard everybody talk about it all season long, is the ability to capitalize. At times in games where it is the most important, they're going to need to find that moving forward.
Yeah, it's interesting because that game on Thursday night, it was like the same kind of start, obviously, but it looks a lot different when you end up scoring on two of them, right? It's just one, if you can find one early, and how that changes, the tide and the momentum, and obviously maybe just a confidence level about finishing some of those chances.
And it's there. The finish is there, and they can find it. So it's just a matter of doing it at the right time, but doing it consistently as well, because, and we were just talking, this is a big road trip for them coming up. They need to string a bunch together here. Yeah,
Arizona, Vegas, and Colorado, and a couple of teams that are obviously near the top of their respective divisions in Colorado and Vegas. All right, so today, the ongoing theme, as we know, being the family day long weekend, is families. And there was lots of kids. I know you were sitting on the concourse level. It seemed like there was some pretty good energy out there, but wanted to we share these ones with you as well. These are two, but maybe introduce us here, Meaghan, to these two precious ones.
This is my son, Calder, and my daughter, Berkeley, and that is in Erning, Denmark at the World Championships this past September. They came over and they cheered me on. It was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but both little hockey players.
Yes, yeah.
And then that's us on the ice at the end of the game, won that World Championship. So it was really special to be able to celebrate with them. And, I've been really lucky throughout my career to have my beautiful kids and my husband supporting me, and it really makes you realize that family it's the most important thing in the world.
Well, and that one was cool because they're old enough now that they could take some of the memories from that, obviously understand what was going on too and what mom was doing, and kind of different perspective on that one, right?
Yeah, and they talk about it all the time, and it was adorable when we got back. My daughter, this was her first year playing hockey, and she said to me on the car ride to one of her practices, she said, "Mommy, I want to be just like you." And so as a mom, as a parent, that absolutely warmed my heart. So it was really, really special trip for us.
And now, because you got two hockey players, Berkeley's always flying. I always hear our kids. Cade, you can come in here now. This is the end of your junior reporter. Your run's over, bud. That's it.
I don't know. He's pretty good. I feel like.
You feel like we should hire you back? What do you think?
Maybe. I don't know.
What are you getting paid for this? Peanuts? So our kids, are Calder and Cade, play together over at AMP, but it must be fun just to watch the young guys, the young kids, just going through the process now, and kind of the hockey through the kids' eyes. It's totally a different look at it.
It is fun, and it actually, I feel like as a parent, it reminds me of what the game is all about. I think we get so tied up in winning and getting points and all of those things. But when you see your kids out there playing and having fun and enjoying the game, it really reminds you that that's what it is. It's a game.
It's a game.
And it's meant to enjoy and to have fun and to share with the people you love.
We had fun today, right? Did you good time?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, you did a good job as the junior reporter, and we had a lot of fun here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. I know not the result we were looking for, but a lot of fun was had by all the kids that were participating, all of our junior positions. They knocked it out of the park, and we'll look to the next game. The Calgary Flames get a couple on the road, but we'll be back here as we look towards the end of the month, February 28th. 4-3 the final. The Flyers win it thanks to a third-period goal, but you can see the smiling faces inside the Scotiabank this afternoon. Scotiabank Saddledome is the Family Day game, puts a wrap. And next up for the Calgary Flames, it's a road trip. 3 games that commences on Wednesday against the Coyotes. First of back-to-back games. First Arizona and then on to Vegas after that. And back here at the Scotiabank Saddledome on the 28th of February. Thanks for watching Flames Post Game Live, brought to you by Original 16. We'll see you back here on the 28th of February.